वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So we do verse 8 today. अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसाक्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः. It says, now see, I told you that these are values. I think about 20 values he lists, one after the other, that these have to be followed if you want to improve yourself, perfect yourself, or attain that supreme bliss. There is no other way to do it except all these you have to practice. These are prerequisites to it. Like Gurudev used to say that if you can't follow the disciplines in spirituality, then you are just wasting your time. You will reach nowhere. It's not something that you have studied and then you can do it. No, it's not like that. So, now see what he says here: humility, huh? Unpretentiousness, non injury, forgiveness, uprightness, service of the teacher, purity, steadfastness, and self control. Now, these are a whole lot, huh? In just one small thing. It is one verse and so many of them. Even to practice one, believe me, is very hard. But there is one good news about these values, that you practice just one or two and all the rest come in complementary. So that is a very interesting thing. So don't be scared about practicing. Oh, so many, how can we do them? We can never get to them and all that. Don't think like that. So here it is. See, first let's take up humility. Now humility is something, this comes with knowing how insignificant a creature you are in the world. You have to understand this, that we give too much of undue, undeserved self importance to ourselves. We think I'm the most important thing in the world, which we are not. You have to only understand that you, Gurudev used to say, you are a speck of microcosmic dust in one corner of the universe, which was not there before and which will not be there after just a few years. And think of the time of the world. Millions and years and billions of light years and whatnot are the calculations. Even those are not enough. So what are we in there? And no matter what we become, no matter how great we become, no matter what we think of ourselves, we are basically nothing. Nothing before, nothing after, and very soon your name is like a signature on water. Just gone. Endless. So once you understand those things, then you understand that how insignificant you are, and only then the humility comes. Also, the humility comes, in the heart, in your heart, vis-a-vis the teacher. And unless and until you have that attitude of humility, you will not receive anything from the teacher. The teacher is teaching, the teacher is not concerned. The teacher is teaching everybody the same way. But it is your attitude of humility that will make you gain what you have come to gain. Otherwise, if you do not have the attitude of humility, humility is basically the that I am nothing, please give me, give me, I am there to receive. So if your hand is not like this, if your hand is like this, what will happen? Even if somebody is pouring water in your hand, it will fall all over. Only if your hand is cupped like this, which is the attitude of humility, asking, it is at that time that you gain something. So also, you see, humility is in the sense that, देखो, when you think that you have humility, Gurudev ka quote hai that humility is a strange thing. When you think you have it, the moment you think you have it, it is gone. Think about it. Because that pride comes that I am very humble. I am humble. That means you are complimenting yourself. So if you are complimenting yourself, where is the humility? See, it's a very delicate thing, humility. So you have got to think of it like that. So here, when you have healthy values, you know, acha, then what will you spend less and less energy in outside things. So that energy you use to perfect yourself. So don't waste your energy. Next, say unpretentiousness. If you see, to pretend you need energy, to be yourself, you don't need any energy, right? See, like I'll tell you, if you've gone somewhere where you are in a formal mode, then you are all the time alert, right? About your dress, about your behavior, about your speech, about your, that expends energy. You may be pretending to be a role which in real life you are not, isn't it? So that expends energy. But once you are home and you get into your home clothes and nicely and comfortably put your feet up and have a cup of water, what happens then? There is no energy spent because you are not trying, there is no mental energy expenditure. You are at ease. So if you follow unpretentiousness, you are at ease and you do not expend energy and you do not waste it. So see, problems come to everybody, but how you tackle that problem, whether you tackle it with ease, straightforwardness, humility, that will make a huge difference. Okay, now then, what is the next? Unpretentiousness, non-injury. ये भाई बहुत बड़ी चीज है. This non-injury is a huge thing. देखो, in our scriptures, this ahimsa, they give almost 24 different kinds of ahimsa. Hinsa. Hinsas are listed. This is, देखिए, शरीर की हिंसा. आप किसी को मारते हैं, किसी को शरीर को कष्ट देते हैं. That. Then there is vak hinsa. With your words you sting others. With your words you hurt others. You say things to hurt others. That is hinsa. Huh? And like how somebody who doesn't have children, they can't have children, and you go there and say, uh, oh, you've been married for so many years, you don't have children? That is hinsa. Oh, that's very sad that you don't. That is hinsa. So when you know somebody's shortcoming and you are saying something to hurt that person, that is hinsa. So vak ki hinsa. Then there are many other kinds of hinsa. But acha, jab when everybody says ahimsa parmo dharma, in our scriptures, yes, it is ahimsa parmo dharma, but ahimsa and hinsa are very clearly defined. Hinsa is also as necessary as ahimsa, but when it is not necessary, if you do it for your selfish ends, if you're doing a hinsa only to please yourself or for your selfish ends or to gain something, that hinsa is forbidden totally. It is a non aggression where you do not start the aggression. But if somebody is coming to kill you or harm you in any way, then you have to protect yourself. The whole Gita, dekho, the whole Gita is about that only, isn't it? Arjun to keh raha tha that I'm not going to fight. And here are my weapons. He throws down his weapons and says, I'm ready to go away into the forest as a sannyasi. What is the whole Gita about? The whole Gita is about get up, do your duty, fight, protect yourself. तो ये हिंसा नहीं है. Krishna is advocating hinsa. Why? Because the forces are standing there to kill you. If you do not kill them, they will kill you. So over there, situational hinsa has to take place. That is why countries keep armies. That is why there is a police. Right? हाँ, वो क्यों है? Because it is required. That is why there are judges who give a death sentence. वो हिंसा नहीं है, हिंसा है, but that is a necessary hinsa to protect the society from a criminal who can be very, very dangerous to the society. That is why in Hinduism, all our gods and goddesses carry weapons. If Hinduism was so much about only ahimsa, ahimsa, tell me, why do they carry weapons? Ramji, Dhanush. Huh? Krishnji, Sudarshan Chakra. Okay? Shivji, Trishul. Ganeshji, Farsa. Kali, that mace. हनुमान जी गदा. सबके पास कुछ ना कुछ weapon है. Why is that weapon there? And the Lord himself says in the Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkratam. So you have got to kill where killing is required, otherwise they will hurt you. How many makhi and machhar do you kill in your house? करते हैं या नहीं करते? मच्छर मारते हैं, कॉकरोच मारते हैं, दीमक मारते हैं. Why? Because they can destroy you. They can destroy your house. They can destroy and harm you. They can bring disease into your house. That is why it is unavoidable. So, विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम, anybody जो दुष्ट कर्म करने के लिए आता है, उसको आपको नष्ट करना ही पड़ेगा. That is our philosophy. It is not that just कोई भी कुछ भी हो, you just leave him. And then he gets up and kills you. That's a dangerous philosophy. So ahimsa, please understand it in the right way. You do not start aggression on anybody. You only become aggressive and kill and destroy that which comes to destroy you. Okay. So ahimsa and kshante rarjavam. Kshante rarjavam. देखो ये दो वर्ड्स हैं, क्षांति एंड आर्जवम. आर्जवम means uprightness. That means not cheating anybody, not being untruthful, doing honest dealings with everybody. That is uprightness. And arjavam and kshanti. देखो kshanti का ये है, you have to understand this very clearly. Shanti कैसे? To maintain an equipoise in all situations, all circumstances, and not let your peace be disturbed. understand that peace is the most precious thing anybody owns. Acha. Now then, how do we do it? See, there are situations and situations. When you begin to understand another person, try to understand why he is behaving the way he is behaving, then you try to, then you feel a kind of a compassion for that person, because you're trying to put yourself in his or her shoes and trying to see his point of view. Maybe he's selfish, maybe he's greedy, maybe he's something, but that is his temperament. And everybody, you are not perfect either. Everybody in the world has a certain kind of temperament and they behave according to that temperament. So when you understand that, then you have a kind of a very cordial feeling towards everybody and it becomes natural. The example one of the teachers gave was like a father, and there's a small baby sitting in his lap. That baby happens to kick him. That baby happens to kick him. So does the father kick him back? No, he doesn't, because he understands that this is a baby. His action has got no meaning. His action means nothing. And in fact, he goes around telling his family that, look, what happened? He was in my lap and he kicked me. And he is laughing about it. Right? How does this Shanti come in the father's mind? Through an understanding of the child's mental state, the baby's mental state. He has understood the mental state of the child, and therefore the reaction in his mind is different. Whereas if there is a 15-16-year-old son and he kicks his father, the reaction will be different, isn't it? Because the father will not understand how a grown up boy like that has the audacity and the rudeness to do what he has done. So he has not understood that boy's mind. So here it is like that. Another example, dekho, is that of doctor. A doctor. Okay. So when a patient comes to him, and supposing the patient drinks too much, he's an alcoholic and he's got liver cirrhosis, does the doctor kick him and hit him and beat him first for doing what he did and then treat him? No, the doctor does none of that. He understands that इसने जो करा है वो इसका कर्म है, मुझे जो करना है वो मेरा कर्म है. I have to do my duty of treating him. He will basically tell him that don't drink anymore, you will die. And that he will tell him in a compassionate way. And then he will treat him. But he will not start boxing him and kicking him. You are an alcoholic and what can I do about you now? He doesn't do that because he understands the patient as a patient. He's not going into anything else. So it is like that. So you have to develop a global understanding of everyone as they are, and acceptance of people suddenly brings a shanti in your mind. Another example I'll give you: the father and son. Father will go on saying, why doesn't he behave like this? Why doesn't he do like this? This is not the way to behave. He should behave like that. He should behave. But he's a different generation. His way of thinking, his mannerisms, his behavior is different than the way his father grew up. Once the father accepts this generation gap, once the father accepts that younger people are different from older ones, they will behave differently, think differently, that acceptance suddenly will bring Shanti. Similarly, acceptance of the whole world around brings a lot of peace. So, Shanti and Arjavam, I told you, uprightness. Okay. Now, Acharyopasanam. This is the next one. Acharyopasanam means, देखो ये Where is it? Where does it say? Service of the teacher. It is translated as service of the teacher. पर ये देखो तीन words हैं, आचार्य, उप, आसन. Acharya is the teacher. Up means near. Asan means seated. That means you have to be seated near the teacher. Closeness to the teacher is very, very important. When you are, that is why children previously used to be sent to Gurukul. They used to live with the teacher. Unless you live with the teacher, you see how he behaves, how he conducts himself, what are his thought patterns, how he behaves himself in the society. Only then the student learns. Acharya, the word has come from acharan. Acharan. Who teaches by his acharan is an acharya. And the values that he is teaching, he who lives those values is उन values का वो आचरण कर रहे हैं. He is living by those values. He is an acharya. And only such an acharya can pass on knowledge. Only such an acharya can convey knowledge. Only such an acharya has the Vani ki Shakti to convey this knowledge to the student. Otherwise, the knowledge, no matter what words the teacher uses, they will not get conveyed. This knowledge can never get conveyed and it can never benefit any student unless and until the Acharya has a Tapashakti. Now, to gain that Tapashakti does not come by books or reading books. Acharyas have written books, but if you just read the book, you will not get that Shakti. This Shakti comes by the sanidhya of the teacher, upasana. Upasana. Because the words are printed in a book. Okay? Words are printed in a book and you are reading the book. आप क्या हो गए? कर्ता. You are a reader. What is the teacher trying to teach? The teacher is trying to teach you. He is trying to teach you कि आप करता हो ही नहीं. The teacher is trying to make make the karta disappear. By reading, you are a karta. It is the ahem. मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, मैं समझ रहा हूँ, मैं इस चीज को जान गया हूँ. Whereas that is not true. You don't read scriptures really unless they have been revealed to you by a deserving teacher, by a knowledgeable teacher who does. And आपको ये knowledge तभी आता है when you sit near a teacher. One to one, face to face, the teacher is teaching you near you, you will gain something. And also one thing, if unless and until the teacher is a true acharya, he cannot convey this knowledge. Now, acharya upasanam, shaucham. Shaucham is cleanliness, purity. यहाँ पे purity का मतलब समझिए. Since we are talking on a level which is an intrinsic level, it is not external really. But in our scriptures, external purity and internal purity both are very importantly emphasized. Whenever you come for a study class, whenever you go to a teacher, you must be pure inside and outside. inside and outside. Okay? So that purity. Now, inner purity, how do you gain? Inner purity. What are the, let us first come to the, okay, what are the impurities? What are the inner impurities? Inner impurities are all that are listed again in the Geeta, in all our scriptures. That is what? Hatred, jealousy, हाँ? वो है ना लोभ, क्रोध, मद, मत्सर, मान, all these are the impurities. That is arrogance, pride, hatred, anger, jealousy, greed. So ये जो है ना ये विकार माने जाते हैं. विकार means that they are the changes that your mind they take place in your mind, and they are impurities in your mind. Because of those impurities, not only you get agitated, but you hose pipe that agitation on all around you. Isn't that true? Anybody who is himself irritated, isn't he snappy with others? Isn't he rude to others? Isn't he aggressive with others? He is, because there is impurity in his own mind. And that is what he is giving out with his words and actions. So that impurity you have to cleanse. Okay. Outer impurity, that is the cleanliness. And really, I always say that Indians are very clean personally, probably the cleanest in the world. But outside cleanliness, somehow or the other, our country has fallen into such a bad shape of uncleanliness that it really looks like a huge garbage can, most of it. That is why now today is a day nearing Gandhi Jayanti, and the Prime Minister has announced a Swachhata Divas. So at least clean your own home, clean the surroundings of your own home, put everybody to a cleaning job. It is a duty. Hinduism में any time whenever you do a Vedika ritual or any kind of havan, yagya, puja आप करते हैं तो उसके पहले symbolically you cleanse yourself. And what is that symbol? कि वो you must have seen it in all the pujas. The Pandit gives you water 3 times in your hand. Om Govindaya Namah, Om this Keshvaya Namah, Om this Namah. And then every time you sip the water, then you sprinkle water around you. Then you sprinkle water around your puja thali. What is all that? That is symbolical of cleaning the place. आपने देखा होगा, Hindus when they sit down to eat, they take water in their hand, one sip they take inside, and then they take another one with which they wash their hands, and the third one they take and they sprinkle it around their thali, because they used to sit on the floor and eat, so that water around the thali used to prevent ants and insects from coming onto the food. That was the idea. But all these things are part of shaucha. ये जो है ना shaucham. So shaucham, understand that inside you have to be pure. And वाण ये इसमें कई चीजें आती हैं inner purity. वाणी की शुद्धता, मन की शुद्धता, बुद्धि की शुद्धता, विचारों की शुद्धता, आचरण की शुद्धता. Yeah, these 5 so definitely all these come in inner purity, shaucham. अच्छा, फिर उसके बाद और क्या है? हाँ, service to the teacher में ये है that looking of students used to study free, there was no fees or anything. How they used to express the gratefulness to the teacher? Only by looking after his comforts, looking after his conveniences, cleaning the ashram for them, cooking for them. Staying in a Gurukul, you have to take on one seva. You must take on one seva or the other just to show your gratefulness for the learning that you are receiving. So what do they do? They take on, somebody cleans the ashram, somebody cooks for the teacher, somebody makes tea for the teacher, somebody does something, somebody something, and that is what is called Guru Seva. तो एक्सटर्नल गुरु सेवा, हाँ, हमारे गुरुदेव तो ये कहते थे, द रियल सेवा दैट यू कैन डू फॉर मी, द रियल गुरु दक्षिणा दैट यू कैन गिव मी is to spread in whatever way is possible for you, spread my message to the people. That is the teaching of our scriptures. He used to say that is the best guru dakshina you can give me. So anything, whatever anybody, somebody has money, he gives a donation for the mission work to go on, or he gives money to print a book. And see, when you give money to print a book, how many people it benefits, do you realize? Then teaching the scriptures, okay, then helping in some way or the other in the mission activities for the mission to reach so many people. There are bhajan groups, there are study groups, there are bal vihars teaching children good values in life, you know. All these are sevas. So you take up whatever seva you, and that is the Guru Dakshina to the teacher. So that is what it is. Acharya Upasanam Shocham Sthairyam. Now, Sthairyam is steadfastness. That means not throwing yourself off balance. You are steady and you are regular in your studies, and you are not shaken by so many things that keep happening around you, because you sort of develop a kind of a discrimination wall around you. It is a wall of discrimination around you, that any human being reaches you, any situation reaches you, anybody says anything to you, at that time let him pass through that wall of discrimination to reach you. You understand the correct value of whatever is happening, so that you do not allow yourself to get affected by it. You absolutely do not allow anybody to affect you. So that is, and self control. ये जो है ना, आत्म विनिग्रह, control over the body, mind and intellect, all these, you have to control yourself on all these levels. If your body feels like slapping somebody, don't do it. If your mind feels like aggression, don't do it. If your intellect thinks badly, wrongly about somebody, don't do it. Now, how is it possible that you don't do it? It's very difficult. One of the acharyas has said that you can practice it by doing the opposite of what you feel. देखो बहुत बड़ी बात है ये. You practice it by doing the opposite of what you feel towards that person. Supposing you feel hatred towards somebody, then just to correct yourself, you show love to that person somehow or the other. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of self-discipline to do that. You can't do it. But when you do it, you know, you will be surprised to notice that somewhere, somehow, the other person will respond. Maybe not immediately, but after some time. That person starts responding to your love. So I've just given you one example, you know. So, like if you feel anger towards somebody, you feel very angry towards somebody, then go and you go and instead of saying something rude and bad to him, you apologize to him and say that I'm sorry if I did or said something that hurt you, I'm very sorry. So you apologize to that person. That is a way of cleansing yourself. You are not doing him a favor. You are working on yourself. You are working on your inner purity. You know, these are very difficult. ये आत्म विनिग्रह बहुत मुश्किल है. These disciplines, each one of them is very, very difficult. But you are not doing it for others. You are doing it. These are called inner disciplines. They are called spiritual disciplines. and they are very difficult to do. But when you do them, you gain strength. You gain inner strength in a tremendous way. Because people ask, why should I do? मुझे क्या जरूरत है ये सब करने की? क्यों करूं? मैं क्यों करूं? है ना? You are not doing the other person a favor. You are working on yourself. आपके अंदर कुछ फट गया तो आप उसकी सिलाई कर रहे हैं अपने अंदर. ओके, सो लीव दैट. ये हो गया. अच्छा, नाउ द नेक्स्ट वन. कम टू द नेक्स्ट वन. इंद्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम अनहंकार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधिः दुःख दोषनुदर्शनम्. It is indifference to the objects of the senses and also absence of egoism, perception of or reflection on evil in birth, death, old age, sickness and pain. देखो क्या वो कह रहे हैं. कह रहे हैं indifference to the objects of the senses because of vivek. Because of vivek. इंद्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम. इंद्रियों का वैराग्य. Indriyas are the naturally they run towards whatever they want, right? Whatever they like, they generally run towards that. You can only get vairagya by understanding the true nature of the objects. True nature of the objects. Gurudev used to give that example that a boy is fascinated by a girl, he loves her, and he says, "Oh, Swamiji, she is so beautiful, and I am fascinated by her." And Swamiji used to say that she is only filth wrapped in filth. That is the reality of her body. And you say you are fascinated? And Gurudev used to say, shall I bring a packet of her skin? And in that, I should put blood, flesh, bones, urine, fecal matter, cartilage. What do you want? Fat? That is all that her body contains, which is true. And in that, it is also wrapped in skin, which is so filthy, it oozes sweat all the time, and you need to have a bath twice a day. That dirty the skin is. So the wrapping is dirty, filthy. The things it contains is filthy, and that filth, that bag of filth, you are fascinated by. No, ये गुरुदेव की बातें भैया. Please forgive me for saying all this. He used to wash every bit of fascination for anything right out of your mind by giving his examples. But देखो, वैराग्य चीजों से आता तभी है when you understand the right value of something. It doesn't mean you start hating that thing. No. But undue attachment and undue importance given to the objects of the world around you is what you are guarded against. You understand exactly the right value of the thing. If you understand that the diamond also is nothing else but carbon, koila bhi carbon hai, diamond is also carbon, but in a different form, that is all. You have put value on that diamond. Gold is only a metal. You have put value on it, and that is why the price skyrockets. Understand that it is a metal. It is just a metal. No other use it has except what a metal can do. So, ये जो चीज है ना, indifference to the objects of the senses comes only through discrimination only through discrimination. Hmm? So then, देखो, Gurudev used to say, carry your body like a shadow. It is not you. It is not you. Hmm? So, acha, then here he says what? The sense, and also absence of egoism. देखो, ego, ahankar. Ahankar only comes when you think I am the body. Otherwise, ahankar can't come. Body ka description I have just given you. And that is what you are. And you allocate this I, मैं बहुत बड़ी चीज, मैं ये, मैं वो, I am intelligent, I am educated, I have power, I have wealth, I have skill, I have knowledge. It is all I. And in 1 second, all that disappears. It takes a second. Think about it. Think about it. What I you to? It is not your glory. The glory is His. And unless and until you understand this thing, you see, you go on thinking of objects, go on thinking of yourself, and pretend to be very highly spiritual. That is hypocrisy. You cannot live that value if you are a spiritual, uh, if you are a spiritual seeker. Huh. Okay. Now, unless and until you feel, you see the true value of things, and because of seeing the true value, you feel a discontent with everything around you, till that time you are not going to go towards finding your true nature. You will never, you will never try to even seek permanent bliss unless and until you see the pain around. To a very highly evolved person, even when he sees a little pain around, he begins to think. Buddha, you remember? He saw old age, disease, and death only on one day, and his whole mind turned because he realized that the body, this is what happens to the body. बॉडी में वो षट विकार तो होंगे ही, है ना? हाँ, वो होगा birth. All situations of the body are painful. Each and every situation is painful. Birth is painful, growth is painful, hunger and thirst are painful. ठीक है ना? हाँ, then disease is painful, decay is painful, and death is painful. है या नहीं? So when does the body give you joy? When does the body give you happiness? When this kind of discrimination comes, that alone will egg you on कि भैया कुछ ऐसा ढूंढो which will give you total happiness, which will give you permanent happiness, than running after the body and serving the body day in and day out. Why? You are wasting your time and trying to gain happiness from something which is inherently full of pain. So when you recognize, ye dekho, perception of evil in birth, death, old age, sickness, and pain is the only thing that will take you towards spirituality. Hmm? I have told you that any given situation is a potential pain giver. मान जाइए आप. Because the situation is in an Einsteinian world of change and time. It will change. And when it changes, you cannot accept it. And that change gives you the pain. Right? So always you have to, unless and until you perceive that anything that you have run after in life has ultimately resulted in giving you pain, the person you loves himself starts giving you pain. The children that you bring up with so much of love and affection, they give you pain, don't they? Everything in the world starts giving you pain. So all the goodies that you love to eat and drink, then they start giving you diseases, isn't it? So understand, it is not saying that you don't do anything or you don't eat anything or you don't enjoy anything. That is not what the scripture is saying over here. The scripture is saying that you, darshanam is the word. Darshanam is that you understand, you see, discriminate and understand their true value and then do accordingly. So this is the okay, we do till here today, and next time we will do verse 10. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.